Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat. I'm your host, Buddy Thayer, and I'd like to welcome to a very special edition of The Ghost and the Ghost. Not Ghost and the Goat. Not that every edition of The Ghost and the Goat isn't special, but we have a special Veterans Day edition here on The Ghost and the Goat. Speaking of Veterans Day, a big shout out to Bravo Brewing up there in Burrillville, Rhode Island, home of the lovely Bravo Brewing. They've been in operation for 5 lovely years. Their brewer and owner Chris is a U.S. Air Force veteran. Big cheers this weekend is his 50th. Just want to give him a big shout out. Tonight we have a few guests on the show. We have a sports guy that we've had on before. Steve is joining us again. Steve is a U.S. Navy veteran. We also have another gentleman on the show. This is his first time to the show, but he's spent many time on this show in the chat room talking junk about my amazing football team, the Miami Dolphins, and we'd like to give him the opportunity to come in and give us a very special tour. So we'll more on that in a minute. Speaking of beer, well, not speaking of beer, but speaking of this show, if you're watching me right now and you're most likely watching me on the Get Haunted network or the Van Down by the River, at which point you can jump in the chat room and talk and blah blah blah. At this point, Facebook did something different where they changed the format with StreamYard, or StreamYard changed the format where I can only see it as Facebook user. So if you're in the chat room and you're throwing out questions or whatever, you want people to know who you are, just say, hey, it's me, Buddy, or hey, it's me, Jerkface, and throw your question out there or throw your comment. Always nice to hear people in the chat room. Some quick announcements. If you're into A Van Down by the Riv, which is my podcast channel, you know that I have another show. It's called Three Dudes Brews, talking about great beer. Hold on, I'm just gonna take a sip. Oh my God, it's tremendous. Oh, excuse me, Jesus. Three Dudes Brews is a journey of three guys. It's just me and two other guys going to breweries and talking about good beer with good brewers. We few quick announcements. Three Dudes Brews on Saturday. We will be participating in the White Dog Distillery. They're presenting their first annual chili cook-off. I'm going to resurrect my wife's Heather's recipe. I think I'm going to call it Glorified Virgin on a Pelican. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, whatever. It's her award-winning chili. She won 5th place in a chili competition at Phantom Farms 6 years ago now. 7 years ago, maybe. And she used a tremendous recipe. I'm going to put it back together. Challenge my other two dudes from 2 to 4 Saturday on 11/16, 560 Mineral Spring Avenue, North Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Come check us out. Have some great chili. Have some great distilling. And there's like Crooked Current, like right next door, which is a lovely little brewery, smallest brewery in the state. A big shout out to Nicole and Nicole of Crooked Current, and Mark Pappy of Smug Brewing, and the good people at White Dog Distilling, who took part in the Three Dudes Brews food drive. Not only do we drink good beer, but we raise money for the poor. We did a food drive at those 3 breweries, and we gave everybody a buck off for any bit of food that we were able to collect. So thank you for anybody who participated in that. Thank you to the 3 drinking establishments. Another fall. All right, so this fall special is coming soon. This will be you'll see the 3 Dudes Cider Challenge as well as the 3 Dudes Light Brew Challenge. We have this like on-show competition called the Top Cock. Yeah, I don't need to really go on. It's just whoever's better at like tasting beer. You would think I would win more. Episode 6 is coming out soon. We record episode 6 in 2 weeks from Tower Hill Brewing. It's a lovely brand new brewery down there in South County, Rhode Island. Right after you hit the towers, there's this new plaza on the right. South County, I don't know, like South County Commons, I think it's called. You go right in there. This brewery, I haven't been there yet, but I heard that their beer is top notch. Speaking of top-notch beer, I'm going to round this conversation full circle into tonight's show. Top-notch. We had the delightful opportunity, myself and my 2 other dudes, Costas and Ed, to visit a brand new brewery. It's opening very soon. It's not yet open. We had the opportunity to collaborate with this new brewer, if you will, on a brew of our own. It's going to be called 3 Dudes and a Brew. We dumped a whole poop ton of chocolate and chocolate and hops into a boiler, and we boiled it for several hours, and we drank some beers, and we talked about beer, and then we switched it over to the fermenter, and it's been sitting there for about a week, probably about 11 days now, and in a few short days, they're going to add some more caramel and some more chocolate, and it is sure to be a good beer. We're hoping that this beer will really hit every note that we're looking for. It's going to be like a Snickers porter, so that's what we're going for. This crafted beauty is debuting. Hopefully, it'll be out of the fermenter. I'm told 3 to 4 weeks. This brewery is opening. Was they were hoping to open this weekend because they have such tight ties with the Rhode Island National Guard. If you know, you know. If you don't, you will find out, because 3 Dudes in a Brew is going to be one of 12 beers offered at this fine establishment. A porter, if you didn't know, is a dark beer like this. I'm actually drinking a smoked. I don't know what it is. It's from Smug Brewing. It's smoky in the brew. It's a smoked. It tastes like bacon and like charcoal. It's delicious. Run out and try it today. That's going to be maybe the secret ingredient in my chili. Anyway, I digress. So flipping back around, tonight's I'll bring on my first guest, my reoccurring guest, if you will, my reoccurring guest co-host, if you will. Please welcome to the show, Steve. Steve, how you doing, dude?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good to see you again, dude. You're looking pretty good.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
This is some nice headphones you got, dude.
Thank you. My gym headphones.
Yeah. They're good. All right, so running full circle back around, we are very. I am very happy to welcome this. He's a celebrated author. He's a Rhode Island native son. He's a trustee at this fine organization that he happens to be touring us through this evening. He's a Rhode Island military historian, and his 25-year veteran of the Rhode Island National Guard. We salute you, sirs. Thank you for your service. Please welcome to the show, Jeff Ahern. Hey, dude, how you doing?
Hey, dude, how you doing? I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Did you say you were naming your chili glorified version of a pelican?
Yeah, if you know Heather, that's what she thought the lyrics to that song was. So I figure, what more appropriate than to name the chili that she created after a great Pearl Jam song. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, on that whole Pearl Jam note, buddy, I want to give a shout out to probably the greatest Pearl Jam fan in the world, my brother Ryan, who is tuning into this podcast right now.
Doctor. Hope you're enjoying a good beer, dude.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, nice to meet you, Steve.
You too, Jeff.
Yeah. So I just want to first thank Buddy and the podcast, and especially the Varnum Armory, and especially our friend Pat Donovan, who has done yeoman's work here. I mean, for being a Civil War geek growing up since I was 8 years old, to sit here alone in this building and be in front of one of 2, that's where I'm going to start the tour tonight, one of 2 cannons still on its original carriage from the Battle of Gettysburg in the entire world. There's plenty of cannons, the tubes, the carriages, they break, they disintegrate over the years, but out of the 300 plus cannons on both the Union and Confederate side, there's only 2 in the world today that are still on their original carriage, and one of them is the Gettysburg gun of Battery B, 1st Rhode Island Light Artillery, that's sitting about 5 feet behind me.
Nice.
So I'm going to start off with that, and Buddy, I don't know if there's any other things you want to talk about before.
I'll let you talk. I know. Like I said, I've been involved with this organization for almost a decade. I know everything that you're going to walk through. Steve, if you have questions, please shoot them out to him. If anybody in the chat room has questions, shoot them out. We'll post them on the show. Go ahead, Jeff.
So, Buddy, if I don't see any questions, please just let me know, because I've never.
Oh, I'll put them right up on the screen for you, dude.
So, is there a way to like flip my camera, or?
I don't know if you can do that. Maybe you can turn it around. I don't know if you can. I've never done that. No.
Okay.
No,
all right. Well.
All right. There we go.
Can you see it?
I can see it. Could you get a little closer? What's that? What's that in the middle?
All right. So this is the Gettysburg gun of Battery B, 1st Rhode Island Light Artillery. Like I said before, it's one of 2 cannons in the world today out of the 300 that were there that's still on its original carriage. Obviously, you have the cannon tube here. You have the carriage, which consists of the cross section and the wheels, and the trail in the back there. This cannon was brought to Battery B in 1862 during the Peninsula Campaign. It took part in the 7 Days battles, and of course the Battle of Fredericksburg in December of 1862. And following the Battle of Fredericksburg, Battle of Chancellorsville, which Battery B wasn't so involved with, but after the Battle of Chancellorsville, General Lee decided that it was his time to take the war to the north for a second time, and he rode that momentum up until what we all know as the Battle of Gettysburg, July 1st through 3rd, 1863. Battery B wasn't on the field on July 1st, 1863. They were still on their way. On July 2nd, 1863, they were engaged outside of Cemetery Ridge, the Peach Orchard, Cadore Farm. I'll get into that later when I go downstairs, where we have some private, items of the men that fought on this gun. But the big day and what you see before you occurred on July 3rd, 1863. For everyone who's familiar with the battle, Pickett's charge, which was General Lee's, final attempt. He had believed that they attacked the two flanks of the Union Army on July 2nd, 1863. So he felt that on July 3rd, 1863, their weak point was in the center of the Federal line on Cemetery Ridge. So at 1 p.m., the Confederate artillery, about 150 guns strong, started a bombardment that lasted 2 hours, and then after that, at 3 o'clock, Pickett's charge would step off. But about an hour into that bombardment, this cannon here, was stationed at the center of the Union line on Cemetery Ridge, just a little bit to the right of the copse of trees. And after about a half an hour of firing, Private Alfred Gardner, who would have been standing over here, the number 2 man, he was bringing it up around with a powder charge, and he loaded the powder charge in. And as he loaded this cannonball in, this 12-pound cannonball that you see right there, a shell came in and struck the muzzle of the gun right here.
Jesus.
You can see
Still
it.
there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see that a mile away.
So that caused a dent. That shell explosion, it killed the number 1 man who was standing right about here. His name was William Jones. And the number 2 man who I just mentioned, Alfred Gardner, was standing right about here. The explosion had pretty much decapitated the number 1 man, William Jones. He died on impact. And the number 2 man, Alfred Gardner, had half his arm ripped off at the shoulder. And his friend Sergeant Albert Strait, who was the gunner he was the sergeant in charge of the piece, came forward to about this area, and Alfred told him, "Tell my wife I died a happy man. Give her my Bible. Glory, Alleluia." He soon expired, and Sergeant Strait grabbed his Bible, put it in his pocket, and they were still under fire for another 2 hours before they were taken off the field. So what happened then is Alfred picked up the solid shot. Now the powder charge was already in there. He picked up the solid shot, which is this exact ball right here, and he tried pushing it in. I'm not going to go too crazy because I don't want Pat to get mad at me, but trying to zoom in here. But it wouldn't budge because of the dent in the muzzle. So once that ball got lodged in there, he called back. Now this is all under fire. I mean, the cannonade during the battle on July 3rd, before Pickett's charge, could be heard at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is about 60 miles away. So as this was all going on around them, they called for axes back at the limber chest, which was where the ammunition was held, about 20 meters behind the gun with the horses. They called up for axes to try to ram the round home, is what the diary says. Not the diary, the battery history. And if you look here, still you can see the axe marks.
Yeah. Holy
from
shit.
around the. So they were all doing this under fire, and then when the ball got stuck, another solid shot came in right over here and hit the axle of the gun, and mortally wounded another man that was standing behind that wheel and knocked out the spoke that you can see.
Yep.
Over there. And this is And soon after that, the battery was they pulled the gun off the field, and then Pickett's charge came, and that was pretty much the end for battery B service at Gettysburg. But for those of you who have been there, Gettysburg, Cemetery Ridge, there's Hancock Avenue, and all the monuments that are on the of Hancock Avenue were there to the charge, while all the monuments on the opposite side were during the. Kind of gives you an idea of what I think is the prized possession. And this gun sat at the State House for 100 years, and then thanks to the work of Pat Donovan and the Varnum Continentals, we had the honor of moving it back here to the Varnum Armory, where it's nice and cleaned up and on display for everyone to see. Again, one of 2 remaining cannons in the entire world, or that's still on its original carriage. And I always tell you, buddy, that I wonder what these wheels could talk. These wheels went from the Peninsula Campaign to Fredericksburg to.
Right. They wheeled up and down Virginia and Maryland and whatnot, and so God knows how many battles right from the beginning of the war to the end of the war. That's well, not those wheels itself, but yeah, obviously, but yeah. I mean, any of those cannons, any of those guys that survived, it's absolutely mesmerizing. I actually had the opportunity to come in here right around Labor Day. Joe and I of Ocean State Paranormal and a couple mediums walked in, and with Patrick, and we walked around the building. And that cannon, Patrick was most interested in any spirits that might be like around that piece, and they were actually more so around another piece in the building. They said that piece was serving its purpose as like an ornament, like a treasure, like a monument, like a memorial that it was. It was the spirit that's in. Well, one of the spirits that happens to be in that drill hall was more impressed with another shinier gun behind you. But yeah, please go on.
Yeah, but listen, I'm going to walk downstairs. So if you want to talk for a few minutes, I'm going to shut
go
the
ahead.
camera off so I don't everyone dizzy while I go down the stairs.
Yeah, sure. So in that drill hall, there are 4 cannons. There's the Gettysburg gun. There's the Bull Run gun, which was a cannon that was used during the first major battle of the Civil War, the Battle of Bull Run. That and the Gettysburg gun both came from the lobby of the State House, and when they pulled it, like I remember, I was there with Jeff when they were like, hold on, let me take his screen out so we can see all faces here. We were taking the cannon out, and I looked in the Bull Run gun, and it was like it's an open muzzle. Like, hey, what's this stuff in there? It's like they started pulling it out once they get back to the Army, and there was like 50, 60 years of just garbage, just stuffed down in this tube. So you see these cannons that are just like treasures of history, and they're just used as garbage cans, just like shit for people to lean on. It's probably not the best place for them. So to see it finally come to the Armory, because I know this was many years in the works, and they finally got it pieced together because the State House is undergoing some renovation work. They took down the Independent Man and stuff. So with that going on, they were able to get them on loan. Hopefully they are able to keep them, because Varnum is also has a conservation lab, and they do phenomenal things with historical pieces. So
now, buddy, let me ask you a question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Those cannons, horses pulling them?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe they were. Yep.
And then was there a way for men to wheel it down if they had to, I'm sure?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, I would imagine you could do it. Actually, when we moved it out of the State House, that's how men wheeled it out. They wheeled it. I mean, they changed the wheels out and stuff. So it wasn't wheeling out on the carriage wheels. But yeah, it was wheeled completely out. Oh, here he is.
Right.
He's just now downstairs. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff, I got a question for you, actually.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're still frozen. Oh, there you are. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. 12-pound Napoleon. To answer your question, a 12-pound Napoleon that you just saw, it took 6 horses, 3 on each side, to pull the limber chest and the cannon when it was attached. And that's just the limber chest and the cannon. Each cannon also had a caisson, which is where there would be extra ammunition, axes, kind of additional moving tools. So each battery during the Civil War on the Union side, especially Battery B, was 6 guns, 2 guns per section. Each section was run by a lieutenant. Each battery was commanded by a captain. So if you can imagine 6 guns, 6 horses, and then when these guys, July 2nd, 1863, I'm about to talk about quick, a lot of their horses were killed, and they need to get out of there, and their horses are still hooked up to their limber chests and their guns, so they had to do a lot of it by hand.
Ugh.
So.
Far up, man.
Yeah. So all right. So now I'm in probably my favorite part of the Varnum Armory.
Yeah, the best
I had
room ever.
mentioned. Am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, cool. So I had mentioned upstairs that the number 2 man on the Gettysburg gun who died that day, Alfred Gardner, he was considered the old man of the battery. He was about 42 years old when he signed up in 1862. And I had mentioned that when he was hit, his friend, Sergeant Strait, came from the back of the gun to the front, held him in his arms while he died, and he said 2 things. He said, "Tell my wife I died happy, and glory to God, hallelujah, send her my Bible." And luckily, many years ago, we were able to locate, but this is the Bible that Alfred Gardner carried on him that day when he was killed.
It's Gardner there on the left, in the picture, and that's
Yeah.
Albert Strait. Yeah.
Again, I apologize. I'm not too familiar with flipping the phone, but
it's all right, dude.
But that's the Gardner Bible. That was originally at the South County Museum. What happened was after Alfred died, he never his widow passed away in 1913, and he never had any. He had children, but he didn't have any boys. So when she died, this was donated to the Rhode Island Historical Society, and then in the hurricane of 38 came, and for anyone who knows where the Historical Society was, that was all flooded out.
Right.
And a lot of the artifacts, until the repairs could be made, were sent out to all the museums around the state, including this Bible, and it ended up in South County Museum. And when we found it, it was just marked Civil War Bible. But that's the Bible that Alfred Gardner carried on him when he was killed at the gun. That's now upstairs at the Varnum Armory.
Now, question, Jeff, did you have some instrumental part to play in getting the Bible to the armory? Did you have anything to do with that?
No, that was all Patrick. Basically what happened was I linked him up with the curator of the South County Museum who came here to see the setup at the Varnum Armory and the Great Civil War artifacts and and the great care and display they had for all these items. And I don't want to recall the exact time where he said, like, yes, this is great, you can have it on loan. I'll leave that up to Patrick. But when the curator at the South County Museum came here and he saw how great the whole museum was, he loaned it to us. And so again, just another great example of this museum and the professionalism and how awesome it really is.
Oh yeah, we're only going to be seeing like a little taste tonight of what's actually there. There's thousands and thousands. So you look everywhere. It's endless.
Yeah. So I'm going to walk over to again. I don't want everyone to get dizzy over here. So.
Oh, that's appreciated, dude. My vertigo will thank you later.
I'm now entering the World War I, World War II room.
Beautiful.
So over here you have World War I.
Oh, Haagen-Dazs. Look at that.
Prussian, German artillery helmets going back as far as you can go. But one of my favorite things in this room is I'll try to hold it. So these were
oh yeah, absolutely. I know exactly. Yeah, absolutely. This is creepy, actually.
These are Japanese ship identification pictures of American and British ships in the late 30s and early 40s. These were found in a cave in Japan after the war was over. So they're basically pictures from the air of different American aircraft carriers. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah, you can see the one in the top right. You can see that. Yeah.
You get that's that Saratoga. You know, you get King George, which is obviously British. But
Yep.
what kills me about this
Yeah, the Arizona.
is over
Right.
here. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, dude, you're doing good.
You have the USS Arizona, which obviously was sunk
Oof.
In Pearl Harbor.
Harbor.
That's
on
creepy.
Pearl Harbor.
It's just, I
Yeah.
always find that creepy, dude.
Yeah.
So we obviously know principles of detection tell me that this was taken before December 7th, 1941.
Those
Right.
motherfuckers, right?
And there's just so many other things here, like Japanese sword, officer's sword captured by a Rhode Islander. You know, here it is, samurai sword captured at Iwo Jima.
Yep.
I'm going to try to do this without ruining anything, but this is another one of my favorite things in this room.
Oh.
This is a map of all the red that you see are fighting positions of Japanese emplacements on Iwo Jima.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
This is a map from a World War II veteran who fought there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
Where did they land? Oh, God.
they
Yeah,
landed
there's an
down.
airstrip.
Yeah. Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
I've been to Iwo Jima.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when I was stationed in Japan. I was in Japan for 3 years. Been to Iwo Jima. We had to take an LCAC, the hovercraft, onto the land because there was nowhere to park the ship.
The black,
Very rocky over there.
the Black Sands Beach, right?
Black Sand Beach. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
wow.
Yeah.
It has
And
black sand, I think.
And over here, there's some the World War II veteran wrote some words about, you know, setting a charge to blow up a pillbox, and he used some non politically correct
Oh, of course.
language to speak of the enemy. So I'm not gonna read that verbatim, but
Yeah.
but yeah, you got all kinds of, you know, World War I, which I like to call the Great War because that was what it was called until September 1st, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
yeah, again, like you said, buddy, there's a lot here. I'm just kind of breezing over in it.
So Icy Spirits asks, is this a public museum that people can visit? And where is it? Sorry if I was already covered and I missed it. At the bottom, if you see the scroll, Icy Spirits, you'll see the Varnum Armory Museum. You'll see the website, which you can go to. It's at 6 Main Street, East Greenwich, Rhode Island. You can go to the website and book a private tour with Patrick or with any of their lovely docents, this one included. And you can get a fantastic tour, or you can go on an open house. And where it's free. The private tours are they take donations for the open houses are free and are every month. So be sure to get down there if you're from the New England area. It's definitely worth a visit.
Hey,
here we go.
Fun
This
little
is the
fact, buddy, about
go
the
ahead.
Japanese Navy is
Oh,
that to this day, they are not allowed to have aircraft carriers because of Pearl Harbor.
Because of Pearl Harbor, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jeez, that was a long time ago too. You would
Yep.
think.
yeah, that was kind of same thing happened to the Germans after World War I. They were only allowed enough military for homeland defense, but we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, right.
So this is another a new addition to the Varnum Armory. This is the post World War II room. It starts off. It's definitely in its infancy, but just kind of getting with the times instead of being about all the old school stuff, which is still awesome. You know, it starts off in Korea. You know, we have some, and again, all these are somehow, some way attached to Rhode Island, like a Rhode Island veteran, or, you know, we have Korea, we have Vietnam, we have captured Viet Cong, NVA flags.
Nice. Gotcha.
And going forward, and then of course into the global war on terrorism, part of our history. One big thing that, you know, I always get touched when I you know, emotionally, is one of our docents, Richard August. His son was killed in Iraq. His son Matthew, he graduated from West Point in 1997, nice. And this is his West Point uniform. And you know, he was in the 3rd Infantry Division, the Rock. So just a small display to this great Rhode Islander, and his father's also a great American in his family, and we appreciate everything that they do for the Armory and what they've done. So that's one part.
Richard
going around the room.
Richard gives tours, right? Richard is a docent and he gives tours. He's actually isn't he a trustee? He's a member. He's on the. He's a secretary.
He's a secretary.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. So just more donations. This is, I guarantee you guys, in like a year, like 2 years from now, this whole room's going to be filled with twice as much stuff.
Wall to wall.
We have room. We have a whole like boxes and rooms of just stuff donated that we gotta put on display. And again, Patrick and the whole crew, they do God's work here to make sure that this is preserved, and hopefully this will be here 200 years from now, like stuff in the other room.
Right.
So.
Right. That all used to be that area that he's in now used to be part of the kitchen, right? And then like some of it was the kitchen, and the other half was like a mess hall. So they've really done a lot of work in the last couple of years.
And it's all volunteer work. They don't get paid for any of this.
Right.
But so that's I don't know what else you get. That's the highlights for me, buddy.
Don't you have another room over there, Jeff? Another new room with some maybe more personal artifacts that you could talk about?
You're putting me on the spot, huh? All right. So one of the things that we donated. I say we because this isn't mine. This is my platoon. But in Iraq in 2005, 2006, I had this guidon made for 3rd Platoon, Delta Company, 3rd of the 172nd Mountain Infantry, and we were in Iraq from 2005 to 2006. We were infantry unit assigned to Bravo Company, 3rd Battalion, 70th Armor in Baghdad for 6 months. We basically had the fun job of kicking in the doors and doing the raids while the tanks ran up and down the highways and got hit by the roadside bombs. But this is a platoon flag. This I had this tied to the every time we went on a convoy, whether it was a 4-vehicle convoy or a 16-vehicle convoy. This was always on the antenna of the truck, whoever the commander of that mission was, whether it was myself or one of my great NCOs or squad leaders or platoon sergeant. So basically, when we all came home, everyone in my platoon signed it, and then, true to Civil War fashion, on our back was our platoon motto, "No slack," which is a derivative of the book "Steel My Soldiers' Hearts," which is it's a book by a Vietnam veteran who took over a battalion where they were kind of like the bad battalion, if you will. They lacked the discipline and the motivation. Not saying that my platoon was that, but my squad leader, Staff Sergeant John Sampson, came up with this idea and said, "Hey, sir, it's a great book. You should read it." I read it, and that was their motto back in Vietnam. So "No slack" became our motto. And just kind of typical of me being a Civil War geek, everywhere we were, whether it was Baghdad, Taji, Hit, Al-Qaim, Kuwait, Rutba, Takadam, Al-Assad, I kind of like, just like a Civil War battle flag, I kind of wrote all the names of where we were on that. So that's my prized possession that now is in the great care of the Varnum Armory, and I know they'll take care of it.
Of course.
So, and finally, just because you brought me out, buddy, to do my personal stuff, but
yeah, right. Show it, dude. Show it. Oh, what's that?
This is going to be part of a display here. For anyone who's not familiar with the war in Iraq, by the time 2004, 2005 came around, the Iraqi army had already been defeated, so it turned into more of an insurgency where they knew they couldn't fight us face to face, one-on-one, because of the air cover, machine guns, volume firepower. So they would switch to the tactics with IEDs, improvised explosive devices, where they would put things like this. This is a life-size replica. It weighs 100 pounds of a 155 artillery round on the side of the road, hooked up to a Sonoa base station. Now, this Sonoa base station and this homemade antenna, as you can see.
Jesus.
I don't have the pictures on here, but I can send them to you later. This was this base station and this antenna was taken by my platoon from an IED that hit one of our convoys on January 16th, 2005. And luckily no one was wounded. But this is exactly what they used. What they would do is they would use the Sonoa base station. They would hook it up to a car battery with these, and these are the same wires that, whatever asshole built this bomb. The same electrical tape is still on there from 20 years ago.
Wow.
But so the antenna would be up in a gully on the side of a road, and the wire would be hooked to the base station, and then the wires would be running like into the cone of this 155 round with like C4.
Jesus.
And what they would do is they would be like 5 miles away in a desert, and they would use aiming markers. So they'd be like, all right, the IED is the third telephone pole in from the left. And they could time it through binoculars, like, oh, there's that first Humvee. And then they know that when that Humvee hits that third telephone pole, that's when they make the call with the cell phone, blow it up. And we would be in Humvees that could go 40 miles an hour. And they would be in like BMWs. So they would just blow the IED and drive off, and they'd be safe. But yeah, we're working. This is it. I never really thought about it, but this is the same electrical tape that whoever made this bomb, did, that same day. But yeah, so this is all going to be part of a display case over here for the global war on terror. But yeah, this is the original. Hasn't really been changed from the day we grabbed it 20 years ago.
Wow.
So luckily, yeah, like I said, none of my soldiers, had any issues thanks to the armor. But that's pretty much the next big thing.
Good Lord. Steve, any questions? While we're still in this room, anything you want to add?
No, I don't have any questions. I find it all fascinating, and I definitely want to check out this Varnum Museum.
Oh, dude, it's next level. It's next level.
Yeah, it's right up my alley.
I've been saying it for years now. Oh, excuse me, Jeff. Anywhere else you'd like to show us? Anything personal that you like? Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
That's all you can.
And actually, honestly, you know me, and you can probably tell just by looking at me with the way I was describing it. But just like, I never realized the last 20 years that the electrical tape that whoever made that bomb, the electrical tape is still on there, and it just
right.
It just hit me. So
that's kind of haunting, dude. For sure.
I had 2 beers tonight too, so it's not.
That's not too bad, but still,
yeah. But in closing, I can't. If he's listening, I can't thank Pat Donovan enough for giving you and me, buddy, the opportunity to be a part of this organization. And I mean, when I started Civil War reenacting 26 years ago, I just dreamed about the Gettysburg gun, and I just kind of was sitting 5 feet away from it for about an hour,
Right.
And, so we really appreciate it. It's a great time, and I also want to congratulate you, buddy, because your quarterback's gone 2 weeks without getting a concussion.
Right, dude. Right. We're playing football, and we want to get last night. It's way too much. It's way too exciting to think about. Holy shit.
Yeah. So that's all I can.
Oh boy.
That's all I can think about from right here, because we could be here for another 12 hours talking about all this stuff, as you know.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. I could spend days in that place and I'd see everything. So. I hear you, dude. I hear you. All right. Well, Jeff, I'd like to thank you for coming on. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got to get home to the fam and stuff. So give everybody a big what's up from me, and thanks for coming on, man.
All right, Steve. Nice meeting you.
You too, Jeff. Take care.
Good luck in your endeavors. Oh, so that was the Varnum Memorial Armory. Steve, I definitely recommend getting down there. It's they, like I said, they do private tours and then they do an open house. The the beginning of they do it every month. They just did one for Veterans Day. It's all volunteer work. They have a conservation lab as well, so they get like old uniforms and old like Civil War hats, and they'll like make them so that they don't have like moth holes in them anymore. They'll make sure they don't have like the wears and tears of time are almost
nice.
erased. Yeah, and they do it all on their own,
Yeah, that's
volunteer.
awesome.
All
That's
on their
awesome.
own time. Yeah, it's really good. So what else is awesome, Steve? Is this what are your thoughts on before we get into week 10 and week 11? What are your thoughts on your 2024 New England Patriots? Go ahead, tell me.
Oh, they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah, a little bit.
They're gonna need years to rebuild. It's not going to be an overnight job. You know what I'm saying? I think Drake May is very promising. It's going to be years. Listen, you're a Dolphins fan. You've seen it firsthand.
I understand what it is. Yeah,
yeah.
But
for looking at from a coaching perspective, I've never coached at that level, but I have coached football for like 12 years. Offensive line, wide receivers, defensive line, safeties. They need work,
Right.
So you're not going to be able to get it through the draft, and it's going to be hard to get in free agency now, buddy, because you look at these players that are going to hit free agency and they're going to ask themselves, why do I want to go to New England?
Right.
How is that going to benefit me?
That's trash. Yeah.
There's no Tom Brady throwing me the ball. I don't have to block for Tom Brady. And it's taxes are high in Massachusetts too, so their paychecks are going to be affected by it, and they're all greedy.
Right. So, it's not Bill Belichick coaching anymore. It's not that winning background taking into a Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't.
And I don't even like this culture, to be honest. I'm not a Jared Mayo fan.
Really, you didn't like him when he played, or you just don't?
I liked him as a player. As a coach, I think he's in over his head. I don't think.
Yeah, probably.
And I've been saying this for a few weeks now. I think there was a reason why Belichick never named him a defensive coordinator, because Belichick was right. It's still the same defense as last year, essentially. We have a couple injuries. No, it was. I agree with.
No, that was great. When he came out and said his team was soft, and then he reneged on the WEI morning show the next day. He's like, no. I said we're playing soft. No.
Yeah, he called. But it's the same defense. So, what's his name? Covington, our defensive coordinator, trash. I don't like him. Gerard Mayo, you have the final say in every play call, offense, defense, and special teams wise. So it all falls on you. Offensively, I think Van Pelt is terrible, our offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
and I would
to go.
Listen, and I would love Brian Daboll if he gets fired from New York to call plays. That would be huge.
Yeah,
I wanted Mike Vrabel as our head coach, and if we couldn't get Vrabel, I was really hoping for Brian Flores, or bring Brian Flores in as our D coordinator.
D coordinator.
I thought he got shafted. He got shafted when he was with the Dolphins. When you have an owner telling a head coach lose on purpose, come on. He doesn't have it in him. He's a winner, man. He wants to win.
Tua wasn't really all that worth tanking for. I mean, he's okay. He's raised my hopes a little bit, but he's not Dan Marino. He's not the same.
No. And then people might be listening to this and they're asking Steve. They just won yesterday. That doesn't mean anything.
I don't know.
I don't care that they had 9 sacks. I don't care if they had 20 hurries against Caleb Williams. I don't care about any of that because the Bears suck.
Yeah, I don't think that highly of Caleb Williams either. Honestly, he was coined by ESPN as like the next coming, and then he came and he's got like 4 wins.
I think they only have 3, maybe 4.
3, maybe 4. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
but they have an offense that can produce. They have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and that rookie Roma Unduze, whatever his name is, DeAndre Swift at running back, and Komet at tight end. They have an offense. I mean, their defense probably needs a lot of work. So I blame the coaching for the Chicago Bears as well.
Yeah, it's just a trash organization. They've had year after year of like first round draft picks like the Cleveland Browns. They take these studs and they turn them into shit within a few years.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's terrible. It's really a trashy organization. It's a good team on paper. Speaking of another good team on paper, it makes me happy every single week to see them fail week after week. Is the New York Jets, the New Jersey Jets. Aaron Rodgers is such a ball of shit, but
I hate Aaron Rodgers. I hate him. When he was in Green Bay, I thought he was a clown. In New York, I think he's an ass.
Dude, he was in Green Bay bitching about the weapons he didn't have. He left.
Right. And then he brought the same weapons to New York.
The same team to New York, and they suck. What are they expected?
They're Jordy Nelson away from being the Green Bay Packers.
Right. Exactly. Right. They still got the green too. I don't know. They're just not good. And it puts a smile on my face every Sunday to see the Jets lose miserably, to see Aaron Rodgers play and not play well and lose and have that
awesome
puss look on his face. Like, dude, you won one Super Bowl. You're not Tom Brady.
And
you can't do what Tom Brady
did. Defense won him the Super Bowl, buddy. They had a stellar defense on that Packers team.
That was Hawk, right?
Hawk was there, and then they had Clay Matthews. They had BJ Raji on the D line. They had I think they might have even had what's his name? Oh, I'm having such a brain fart. Another defensive end. Julius Peppers might have been on that team too.
Yeah, right.
He might have been on that team, but they had stud corner. That was a great defense. But you know what? That New York Jets team, they're loaded with talent too.
Yeah, loaded with talent.
Loaded with offense and defensively.
Supposed to have the best defense, have the best offense on paper, and they can't put anything together. And it's awesome to watch week after week.
It's awesome to watch. Fuck the Jets. Sorry for the language.
It's okay. It's always nice to see the New York Jets fall on their face.
Yes,
I had the absolute pleasure of being in Buffalo, New York, a few weeks ago to watch my Dolphins lose a very close game to a division rival. And may I say, what a lovely city Buffalo is. Actually, they call them Buffalo Hot Wings because they're pretty damn good. They do. I went to a place, O'Neill's Inn, right across the street from Orchard Park. Highmark Stadium there, and their wings were like second to none. They're like shit, like
crispy. They gotta be crispy.
They were crispy. I had the Buffalo, the Buffalo. Oh shit! No, I'm blanking out. Buffalo blue cheese, and the guy was with the guy who was a Buffalonian who was a mafia. He had the garbage, and that was like everything, and it was just like holy shit, just next level good. Good beers. Good choice to go. Then we went to the game the next day. We tailgated. We did the whole. We tossed the bet. Was that we tossed the bean bags in the hole there.
Cornhole.
Cornhole. We played that. They wore their overalls, their Buffalo Bills overalls. I watched grown adults jump through plastic tables and go Bills. Really good community though. I went. I was surrounded by Bills fans. And
how did they treat you?
They were, dude. I've been to a million games in Foxborough, and I've gotten like pelted with fucking ice balls, beers dropped over my head. I've gotten people running up to me and doing a chest bump when I wasn't looking. Just the worst sort of people. But not that way in Buffalo. They're very
I'm
even
shocked.
when we lost.
I'm shocked.
I was shocked too, dude. I was expecting all douchebags, but
me too.
New Yorkers, especially. New Yorkers are exceptional fans, but what a kind-hearted group of people. Even when I kept yelling wide right, I would get the dirtiest looks. The dirtiest looks. You don't say those words here in Buffalo.
Actually, I've been to Arrowhead before. And I went, it was actually, you want to talk about nice people.
Yeah.
They were the kindest people. I mean, big Patriots fan. I'm wearing Patriots jersey, Patriots hat. Their tailgating there is just one big party, buddy.
Yeah.
Where, hey, you want some food? And Kansas City barbecue. How you doing?
Yeah, dude.
So it was everywhere, and people, hey, try these ribs, try this brisket, try these smoked chicken thighs, and I'm like, my cholesterol is gonna be through the roof, but let's fucking do it.
Okay, yeah, right.
That game was fun because that was the game where Kansas City set the record for the loudest stadium.
Oh boy!
And then Brady played like ass, and they benched him and put Garoppolo in.
Oh God!
And we got our asses kicked on Monday Night Football
in Kansas City when New England was still the dominant team,
and we were still
Kansas City
was team.
Was like the fledgling we want to be New England team. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
Ugh. I like traveling. I went to Baltimore last year and saw my Dolphins get like blown out, like 57 to like 16.
Oof.
It was just ridiculous. But just a great fan base. I went to the brewery afterwards, was soaking my feelings into a beer. Guy came up to me with a Ravens jersey on, and he's like, "Hey, did you have a bad game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just came from the same." He's like, "Yeah, that's too bad." He's like, "You guys gonna still make the playoffs?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's hopes." I had a flight of beer in front of me. It's like 4 beers. He's like,
Yeah.
"You know what?" He's like, "You in from out of town, or you in from Miami?" I'm like, "No, I'm coming from Rhode Island." He's like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "Thanks for coming out. Thanks for
Oh, there you go.
traveling. Thanks for showing support." He's like, "They bought my flight, dude." I'm like, "Nice." I mean, you kicked our ass, so I mean, it's a nice nice prize at the end of the day. I guess it was nice.
Hey, what do you think about, as a Dolphins fan,
Yeah,
Tua coming back after that concussion?
I am
What were
all
your
for.
thoughts?
I am all for. I was all for Tua coming back.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
in his absence, it really showed the Dolphins that the offense flows through Tua.
Through how one person can make such a dynamic difference in a team,
Right.
dude.
Right.
Blows me away. They were like playoff caliber watching them last night. And like
I'm
the
just
last
nervous about another concussion for him.
Oh, yeah,
Like, listen, I love the game of football. Suck up the pain, deal with it. Been there,
Right.
done that.
Yeah, right.
But oof, when you see someone get a concussion like that and then like sees on the field, it's kind of scary. So I was kind of nervous for him. I mean, we all have our teams we root for, but he's still a human too, and nobody wants to see any permanent damage.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants to see him a vegetable drooling on himself in like 5 years. But he took a hit last night, and I got a little nervous because he went to throw a hit on the guy who intercepted the ball, and then like his head got in the way. Like, dude, keep your head out of every single play that you're involved in. Slide into everything. Dude, if he would have like avoided the tackle and then I would have been more okay with that than him throwing his head in front of the guy's knees.
Right. Just
like, dude,
slide tackle like it's
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was the most painful 6 weeks to watch football. I swear to God. Oh my God. It gave me diarrhea almost every single day of the week. Just thinking about football coming on. It's like, oh, who are we going to lose to this week? Because before the season.
Listen, it's so better than the bloody Cowboys, let me tell you.
Oh, that's another team I enjoy watching lose.
I was just going to say that as well.
That's a beautiful disaster in Dallas.
Yes, sir. Beautiful disaster.
And now Dak is out, right? Dak is on. Dak hurt himself.
They said his hamstring, some of the muscle tore off the bone.
Ooh.
Yeah, they said 4 to 6 weeks, but to me that seems like it should be longer than 4 to 6.
Tore off the bone, it seems more than 6 weeks on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good for him because he was getting his ass handed to him in the media and on the field.
And he just got paid.
Of course, he got that massive.
Now he's playing like a bag of ass.
Yeah, and he's going to be injured for probably the rest of the season, if not more. So, which is wonderful. I love seeing Jerry Jones is another person I love seeing fall on his face and go all the way down a flight of stairs. He's such a dirtbag, and it's so wonderful.
Agree.
So that's nice. Get into this week's matchup, Steve. We can talk a little bit about last week as we talk about this week, but the first week of the game, a team that really like it's been almost one of the holy shits of the NFL season this year. The Washington Commanders.
Unbelievable. They're exciting to watch, buddy.
Jalen Daniels, holy shit!
I was not expecting that from the beginning of the season.
Right off the cut, man.
Let me tell you, they are fun to watch, and you know what? You can tell that they're having fun playing football, and that's how you win football games is when everybody's having a blast doing it.
Throwing that Hail Mary pass like he's playing Madden football, dude. That was absolutely phenomenal. Good for him. Good for Washington. They've had shit teams for 30 years now.
Yeah. And Detroit, speaking of shit teams, the Lions. They're playing unbelievable football too.
The Lions are Super Bowl caliber for sure. They were great last year. They got better this year.
And the NFC. Yeah, the NFC is going to run through the Lions this year, man. They deserve every win they get this year,
Right.
I like their head coach too. Their head coach makes me want to cry when I hear him.
Campbell, he was. We gave up. He was our interim coach for a year, and then we got rid of him. And I like Miami, Mike. Don't get me wrong, but I do like Dan Campbell. He's a good guy.
He's a good dude. You want to go to his cookout?
Oh my! I want to drink a beer with this guy. For sure.
That was like Kevin Millar, man. I say that about Kevin Millar all the time from the Red Sox. I want to go to his cookout. I want to go drink some beers with that guy.
I didn't realize how much I loved Kevin Millar until I watched the Netflix series on was it Netflix?
On Netflix. Yeah. I only seen the first episode, and it made me love him even more watching that.
Oh, it's like I want to drink a beer with this guy and just like hang out.
Yeah.
Seems like such a cool guy.
Yeah.
Such a great ball player. That whole team, though. That whole team was magic. It was
absolutely.
That whole it brought back memories of 03. I remember I was working in a bar with Jeff Ahern, our guest tonight. He was the head bartender. I was the bouncer, and we were watching like Heartbroken as fucking Aaron Boone hit a home run.
Aaron fucking Boone.
That son of a bitch. And now he's a fucking coach. But anyway.
And I loved watching Aaron Boone lose in the World Series.
Oh, that was beautiful. Go Dodgers. That was wonderful.
Go Dodgers.
Almost got completely swept, too. That was what made it even more better by like half a team full of former Red Sox, which made it a little bit more better, but a little bit more worse at the same time. But the Red Sox will bounce back. But what a great rivalry. What a great for baseball, great for fans, great for the probably one of my favorite moments of the 03 and 04 seasons, and I've referenced this many times on the show, is Pedro. Pedro was throwing at somebody got hit, and Pedro's like, "Who do you want?"
That was in the first episode.
You want Jeter? You want? He threw
at Jeter.
He threw at Jeter, and he threw at somebody else. I forgot who the second guy was.
Was it Giambi?
It was Giambi.
No, it was
Giambi.
Yeah.
There was that like stare down, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And the next inning, Clemens threw at threw like near Manny. It was just a high pitch.
He threw he threw near.
And then he's like, "Fuck you, let's do this."
Let's
the best part of that whole bench clearing shitstorm flight was when Pedro like took Don Zimmer and just threw his head into the grass. It's like he was just coming at me. I just grabbed him and threw him.
You can if you roll it back in slow motion, you can see Don Zimmer hit his life alert a couple times as he's on the ground.
He goes like this, and he just grabs his face and just throws like that. Such a classic Red Sox Yankee moment. Oh my god!
Yeah, but you know what? And it's sad because that rivalry is dead. It is
I know,
non-existent anymore.
Because we're shit. The Yankees went on and built more good teams, and like Aaron Judge, he didn't do shit in the World Series, but he's a beast, dude. He is. He hit some fucking baseballs.
If he can connect, though, he struck out like 9 times in the World Series.
Right, he was like 2-13 or something.
Something like that. Yeah,
he was terrible. Yeah. There's rumor that the Sox might grab Juan Soto.
I heard that too, but I think it's false, man. I don't think John Henry's going to spend the money. I don't think he cares enough, and I think Juan Soto is going to go to like the Dodgers or the Yankees, a team that's going to pay it out. I heard $600 million.
He's not that good. I mean, he's good, but he's not that good.
26 years old. That's going to be at least a 10-year contract.
True.
It's funny, buddy, because I had this conversation today at work with our pal Mario.
Mario.
And I asked him this. I'm like, eventually we're going to see a contract worth $1 billion in baseball.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be at least 15 years. It's got to be It's got to be.
It will start that way.
It has to be. They're going to take their chance on some young stud and give them $1 billion and hope it pays.
That's crazy. I mean, year after year, you see these contracts get bigger and bigger and bigger.
And it's guaranteed money. It's just wild.
Unbelievable.
And they can play the sport forever, man. Baseball's a sport. You can play. You can have longevity.
Nolan Ryan played into his 40s, and he was still.
And he was a beast still.
Yeah.
That dude was a beast.
Really
yeah.
So time will tell. But there's supposed to be some Japanese star just got released by Japan. And it's going to be up for bid. Starts with an S, ends with an I. Wow. There's a whole bunch of letters in between. I can't remember. But
not quite sure.
He's supposed to be all that. There's a few good free agents in the market. I'm hoping the Red Sox will at least pick up a couple starting pitchers. Maybe a stud. And we got a few good.
I hope so.
We got a few good. I do like what's his name? Raphael.
Devers.
Yeah, no, not Devers. The other one. He started as a kid. The Sox picked him up. It's Raphael. He's number 43. The Sox picked him up. Center fielder. They picked him up when he was like 12 in the Little League World Series, and he just like went along with the franchise, and then he went through Pawtucket, then went Worcester, and he came out with the Red Sox. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's fast. He can hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. They get some decent talent. They just got to put it all together. I'm glad they re-signed the manager there. What's his name?
Alex Cora.
Alex Cora. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good for the team. But
nothing
like
there
that.
Were rumors for a while that Veritek could take over.
I wouldn't mind that either. He's
I wouldn't
he's
either.
a hell of a ball player, hell of a leader. He was team captain for like most of his tenure on the team.
Yeah.
He was with the team almost, I think, his entire career. Maybe if not like most of his career. So I think that'd be a good fit.
You know what was upsetting for me? We're talking baseball right now. Was the Pawtucket Red Sox moving to Worcester, man?
Right.
If you like, you want to talk about history? The history that was at McCoy Stadium.
Right. I grew up there, dude.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Going to the fireworks. On the 4th,
Yeah, absolutely. Yaz played there. Nomar started there. Poppy had a rehab stint there. Manny's had a rehab stint there.
Dwight Evans, Roger Clemens.
Clemens, yeah.
Yeah, Mike
Jim
Greenwell,
Rice,
all these,
Dustin Pedroia, like
Oil Can Boyd before the cocaine. Yeah.
Gone.
Mo Vaughn,
Mo Vaughn. Now it's just empty.
I had the privilege of going into McCoy. Oh God! It was like 3-4 years ago now. I was dating this girl, and she took me. They had a dinner at the Diamond Night or some shit like that, and they set up tables around the park, inside the park. We sat.
I heard about this.
Yeah, we sat right outside of the infield.
Oh, that's fun.
It was like this little circle, like metal picnic table, and I took off my shoes and I put my feet in the grass, and it was really. It's not that nice, but it's really nice. And then you get to use when you had to use the bathrooms, you had to go in the clubhouse, which was probably the best part of the whole evening, because you got I think you got like brisket and probably some like coleslaw or something. It was all right, but you had to use the bathroom. I went in the men's room, and the men's was on the visitor side. I came out, the girl I was with, she's like, "Hey, you got to come in here." And I went in that side. I'm like, "I'm not gonna get in trouble." She said, "Oh no, come on in." It was the Pawtucket side, and it was they had all the wooden lockers. And they had the guys that used the lockers like throughout history. So you saw like names like Roger Clemens, and Dwight Evans, and these guys who started in Pawtucket were now in the Hall of Fame, or want to be in the Hall of Fame. But and their names are carved on this wall when they were 19, 20 years old. And
it's wild. Isn't
now all that's getting torn down or was sold off. Probably they had an auction some time ago. They sold off a lot of that stuff, but It is a shame. I swore I would never go to Worcester to see a game, and I took a client to Worcester. He wanted to go. I'm like, all right, we'll go. And Polo Park is really, really a nice stadium, dude. And,
I hear that. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I heard it's expensive. But
it's not too bad. It's not too
bad.
We got tickets for I want to say like $25-$30. Our tickets were for the third base line.
Yeah.
But there were too many families, right? And I work with schizophrenic people, so they wanted to sit in the concourse.
Yeah.
They had tables set up all around the concourse. We had the vendors behind us, the bathroom was behind us, and the field was right in front of us. So it was awesome. It wasn't a bad neighborhood. We parked on the street, free parking. We walked maybe a mile to the stadium. Not at all bad walking through the streets of Worcester. Yeah. And Polo Park is gorgeous.
I just went to Fenway this summer. A buddy of mine that I served with, a brother to me, just made chief warrant officer. So he had to come to Newport to go through officer candidate school. And he's a big sports fan. He's my guy from Wisconsin, but he's a Chicago everything fan. And he's been dying to go to Fenway. So being a veteran, there's this website that I can use, GovX, to look at tickets. And I got 2 tickets. I only spent $120 on 2 tickets total. Wow. I spent more on fucking food.
Right. Of course.
Buddy, I was right next to Pesky Pool. I had him sign it. I signed it.
Wow.
And we were on the field. Remember Hunter Renfro, who used to play for us?
Yeah.
We were playing the Royals. Mm-hmm. Ball comes flying down the first base foul line. Mm-hmm. Dude, I could have touched him. I could have reached my arm out and grabbed his jersey. It was a really cool experience.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was so
tremendous.
Fun.
I got some clients to Fenway. I thought it was a dream. We were looking up tickets after the Woo side. No, I took them to preseason Patriots game, which was pretty amazing. And so then after that, they're like, he's like, my client's he's a 63-year-old, he's schizophrenic and he's intellectually disabled. He's a great guy. And he's like, how about a Red Sox game? I'm like, I could look up tickets. They suck right now, so maybe tickets a little cheaper. And sure enough, last game of the season, I get tickets for like $55 per ticket. Oof. And I took 3 of us. We went up there. We took the subway up there. Dude, the seats were between home plate and third base. We were under the awning. It was perfect. It was beautiful seats. I wouldn't sit in seats like that during the season. They're ridiculously expensive and difficult to get, but we were able to get them because it was the last game of the year. And we saw what's his name? The announcer for the Red Sox. Castiglione. We saw his retirement. So Clemens was there. Clemens came out. Joe Morgan came out in a wheelchair. Jim Rice was there. All the World Series teams were there. They all came out, give him big hugs. They give him awards in the beginning. So
and he deserves all of that.
Dude, that was such an amazing guy. But such a great, we were like right there. We could see their faces. We could see Roger Clemens. It's like, holy shit, this guy's freaking huge. I forgot how big Roger Clemens was.
Hey, he looks like a tight end.
Oh, for sure. He's like 6 foot. He's another one. He's like 6'7". These guys are huge. They're playing baseball. Right. They're destroying these baseballs. But so with any luck, the Red Sox are able to do something this year. I mean, they did a little bit more this year, I think, than I hoped they would. I expected them to be in the basement the whole show. Some of the season they looked like they were promising for a playoff.
Yeah, they would compete. I honestly think it's John Henry. Like he's got his hands in too many pots.
Right. Soccer
he owns,
team.
The Penguins.
The Penguins.
Some NASCAR thing, I believe.
Oh, Jesus.
The soccer team overseas. You're right.
Yeah.
And Madrid, not Madrid. Whatever, the one in London, whatever they have over there.
The London team.
Yeah. So
Manchester, I think Manchester.
Manchester, yeah.
Right.
So what he needs is to delegate those responsibilities to someone that's actually going to make the moves and give that individual power to do so.
Right.
Right.
I mean, at one time he was interested in building a championship team. They bought in that guy from the Phillies. He's with the Phillies now. Dombrowski. He's like, build us a championship team. He did. He took us to the World Series. We won. Yeah. The next year he kind of flopped a little bit, and they're like, "You're fired. Get out." And then he's like, "All right, guys," and he went to Philly, and he did the same thing again. Yeah. So they should have. They just, I don't know. John Henry needs to.
Well, we got Theo Epstein back in the system.
Theo's a genius. Theo's
a genius, but I don't know exactly what his role is, if he's making these moves or if he cares. Because I think he has ownership stake in the Red Sox.
Oh, there you go.
So
hopefully he cares enough about his pocketbook and he does what he did. It was a miracle what he did in 0304. It's just like,
didn't he? He looked like he was 12 years old in that documentary.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like a puppy.
He was 28. I think he was
28.
Still, he was just a baby.
Yeah.
But it's just brilliant baseball mind. Just unbelievable. Yeah. So with any luck, they're able to do something. There's been talk about John Henry possibly buying the Boston Celtics. I hope that doesn't happen at all.
I hope that does not happen.
The Celtics need to spend money and continue to do well, and they're not going to do well by cutting the purse strings and not do anything. Yeah,
right.
Boston Celtics are looking pretty good. They have 1 or 2 losses. They have a couple losses this year, but they
2 losses. I think 1 on the road and 1 at home.
Mm-hmm. They look pretty magical a few times. I watched them. Yeah. Porzingis is still out, but people are saying just keep him on the shelf until playoff time. He was brilliant in the playoffs. So,
I mean, they just won the championship, but they're playing like they have a chip on their shoulder still, which I don't blame them, because Jason Tatum probably has that chip from not playing much or at all in the Olympics, and Jaylen Brown not making the Olympic team at all. Oh, right.
Yeah. What a kick of balls, dude.
Yeah.
And take all these fucking national, I don't know, it's stupid.
No, it's all probably politics that gets involved in it.
LeBron James, of course, he made the team.
Yeah, well, his son has no right being in the NBA. I'll tell you that right now.
No, yeah, he's
none.
Riding daddy's coattails.
Absolutely, it's the last name carrying all that weight.
Yeah.
He's which is unfortunate because he's actually taken up a spot for someone that deserves to be there, who's probably in the G League.
Probably
So
a whole lot better than he is. So it's too bad.
I mean, I know he had his heart issue in college at USC, but he didn't even average 10 points a game at USC. And this kid's playing minutes in the NBA.
Why?
Exactly. Great question. Great question.
Because your dad is a millionaire.
Yeah. Because your dad owns the NBA.
Yeah, right, for sure. That's too bad. All right. Getting back to football. So the Washington Commanders, they look like the next all that in the bag of chips. They're visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly seemed to start slow. I think, Steve, they seem to do better. Granted, they ran over a shitty team the other night, but what are your thoughts on this game? Who do you think?
So I like Washington in this game. I think Philadelphia, you're right, they start slow.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Hurts is not the same Jalen Hurts that we've seen in the past.
Right.
I think Nick Sirianni is showing everybody in the NFL that he can't coach as a head coach. And I think I think Washington will take advantage of a slow start from Philadelphia and keep that train running. They're gonna put their foot on the gas and not let up.
And money line or points, I'm going with Washington because Washington is the Phillies favored, which blows my mind. Also,
yeah. Is it whose home game is it? Is it Phillies?
It's Philly. Phillies at home.
That's probably why.
It's right around the corner. They're like within a couple hours of driving.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's silly. I think Washington's going to mop the floor either way with Philly.
Yeah, I think
Nick Sirianni, of all fan bases to get in fights with, you're going to get in fights with the Philly Eagle fans. Oh my God, dude! They built a courthouse. They built a courthouse in their new stadium. Enough said. That's all I got.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Was that I forgot the new stadium? They built it like 10 years ago. Terrible. The Green Bay Packers, who been kind of up and down, they're traveling to Chicago to play a lackluster Bears team. They're given 6.5 in this contest, whether you're going money line or points. I took the Packers either way.
Packers, absolutely.
Jordan Love has been throwing a lot of interceptions. I think you could. Yeah. I think you could practically hand Chicago the ball and they'll still find a way to fuck this game.
So I think what will help Green Bay is Josh Jacobs in the run game.
Oh yeah,
to be honest with it, they're gonna run all over Chicago. That Jordan Love might not even need to throw the ball as much. You know. So
but the Patriots ran over. Stevenson had a big day, and Stevenson hasn't had a big day all year against Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, so Green Bay definitely.
Green Bay.
Another shitty fall on my face team, the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. Oh my God, what are they actually trying to prove this year? I'm not even sure. They visit the Detroit Lions, who are absolutely on fire. Studs. They're favored by 13. Doesn't even matter. They could be favored by 45. I would still take the Lions over the Jaguars.
So what scares me about the Jaguars is they need to show up to play because they have a lot of potential offensively. Yeah. I think Trevor Lawrence, I don't want to call him a bust, but he had a lot of hype in college. A lot of hype. But they do have a decent offense where they can get the ball, drive it downfield. That their rookie wide receiver, Brian Thomas, he's the real deal. I like Brian Thomas. I think he's a good wide receiver. They need to be able to build around it. But defensively, they're in trouble. Jacksonville. They don't have any big names on defense. They don't have anybody that can rush the quarterback. But I think they can compete. But Detroit's gonna grow. Detroit has one of the best 1-2 punches ground game wise with Jahmyr Gibbs and then David Montgomery.
Yeah, right.
It's a great 1-2 punch, and Jacksonville doesn't have the defense or the personnel to stop that alone.
On top of a ton of good receivers, and
you might see a lot of play action against Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's starting. They've been starting Mac Jones as of late. Is Trevor Lawrence going to make it up?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I forgot. Yeah. Mac Jones started the last game.
Mac Jones.
I think Trevor Lawrence just had shoulder surgery, so he might be done.
He might be out. Mac Jones did score Jacksonville's only touchdown in a rush.
He did.
Last week. So
he's a trash bag too, though.
He's terrible, dude.
He's hot garbage.
He is horrible. He started off with some hope. I was like, this guy could be a little scary when they first drafted him. That first year was like, okay, he's okay, he can play football. And then he just fell completely apart.
Yeah.
They got rid of Josh McDaniels, and that was like his, I don't know, that was like his diaper.
That was his demise.
He completely shit his pants after that, and it's horribly shit his pants.
Man, he looks like he's putting everything he's got into every throw, and it still struggles to get where it needs to go.
He's still terrible. He's not a football player. His father was a tennis player. Stick with tennis, Mac. You might
maybe he can switch to pickleball.
Pickleball. Yeah, it's all that.
Yeah.
Pickleball. Speaking of not all that, the Tennessee Titans are hosting. Tennessee Titans another. It seems like in the NFL this year you either got like good teams or shit teams.
Yes.
And the Tennessee Titans would definitely qualify to be a shit team.
Absolutely.
They have somewhat of a defense, but that's only against New England. And they're hosting the Vikings. Now, Vikings, who's their quarterback? It's
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. He looked like he was playing for the Jets again last week. He threw 3 interceptions.
Yes.
But other than that, he's been having like, holy shit, is this the same fucking kid that played for the Jets?
Yeah, he was in the MVP race. That people talking MVP for Sam Darnold first like 5 weeks of the year.
Right.
But you're playing the Tennessee Titans. I think the Vikings are going to have their way with Tennessee.
Oh,
they're going to have their way with Tennessee.
The Vikings are only favored. It's by 6. I'd go.
I'm going double digits. Double digits.
Yeah, for sure. I go Vikings with just that defense alone. Will be the Tennessee Titans. They're terrible.
Titans have no quarterback. Who's throwing the ball?
Their starting quarterback was benched, and they put it in Levis, right? And Levis was the starter.
Levis was the starter.
Oh god,
and then
he was terrible.
Who did they put in? Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph, yeah, right. It's not much better. He's better, but it's not much better.
No,
it's terrible.
Ugly football.
It's awful. I'm sorry, Tennessee. They got rid of Vrabel too, so they don't even.
Which was a terrible move.
They got no hope whatsoever.
Terrible move.
Good for Tennessee. The next game of the week, my Miami Dolphins, who, dude, gave me a resurgence of hope. I mean, the last few weeks too has been slinging the football well. They've come close, and they've like the fact that they almost beat Buffalo. They were ahead on Buffalo like half the game was a little bit impressive.
Yeah.
This week we host the Vegas Raiders, who are in the shit category, and they're not like the Dolphins might claw their way out of the shit category. I hope.
Yeah.
I don't have any hope for the Raiders. They are just they're horrible. Their whole team.
I don't have any hope for the Raiders either. I think their one saving grace for the Raiders is Max Crosby.
Oh, right.
He's a beast. Can ball. That kid can play football, and you know what? He can talk some shit and get into someone's head.
And he gets
if you're going to get into head, it's going to be Tua, who probably has CTE already, and then cause some demise. But you know what? You got Tyreek Hill, and that dude can run. You know who I have not been impressed with? He's been kind of non-existent from your Dolphins.
Waddle.
Jalen Waddle.
He was present last night. He made an appearance last night.
Yeah, I think that was the first half. He had 55 yards, and then he went extinct in the second half.
And he should have been in every play. He's fast. He's a smart player. He was awesome last year. He's been non-existent most of the year. And when we had that debacle where we lost to it for a little bit, and they brought in Snoop, I was a little bit excited because Snoop and Waddle worked out in the offseason. I'm like, oh, there's already a connection there. Yeah, they threw one pass where they could play, and then there was nothing else. I was like, what am I watching here, dude?
I do like David Anche, though, from your running back.
He's fast. He's fast. The new kid, Malik Washington, the rookie that scored the first touchdown, wicked fast. I was really excited to see that. Mostert, when he can hold on to the football, he's fast and he's good, but he's been fumbling a little bit, and he's been injured a lot this year, so I don't know what's going to happen there. But, they have a team. They have a good defense, too. They can put it together. They just need to put it together and come out and all show up and play.
They need to play sound, fundamental football.
And they did last night. That was
done.
Dude, that was great. We had 4 sacks on defense. We had 2 takeaways. That's the kind of football we need to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Billy showing up. Barely lucky if we get a field goal. Oh, my God. They were terrible. I'm so glad they turned something around. At least got a win. They'll probably lose every other game, but I don't know. Maybe not. So then you hope they come back. The team that we defeated last night, the LA Rams, who looked like they were having somewhat of a resurgence of that season until last week, are traveling to New England to take on your New England Patriots. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Well, as we've seen from the Patriots in the past, they'll have a good game. Like our first game of the season, we beat Cincinnati, and then we lost like 4 straight, 5 straight, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think we'll lose. I think our defense will keep us in the game, but I don't think offensively we'll be able to get downfield. So I think it'll be a 1-score game, but with the Rams on top.
The Rams are favored 4.5. I took the Rams. I don't really have that much faith in the Patriots. They can show up against Chicago, but the Rams, I don't know. I don't know if they can shut down the Kua.
The thing is, can they do it 2 weeks in a row? And I don't think they can.
Right. Yeah, no, not against the more studlier. I mean, the Rams don't have too many wins, but I mean, I think they're a much more
and they're better. Team. But you know what? They're better coached too.
Yeah, that's
Sean McVay is a better coach.
Yeah. Speaking of poorly coached teams or just shit teams altogether, the Cleveland Browns take the show on the road and travel to New Orleans to play David Carr, who's returned, and the New Orleans Saints. The toilet bowl. Yeah, that's gonna be a shitty game, dude.
It's gonna be a terrible game. And I think just like you said, Derek Carr, not his brother, Derek Carr. If he shows up and plays football, they're gonna get the W.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna get the Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave.
Yeah,
they even Taysom Hill is still a threat.
Is Olave back? I know he was out. I don't know if he's back.
This week, I don't know.
I know he was knocked out a few weeks ago. I don't know if he came back, but yeah. When Carr shows up, they seem to play good football, but that's not, unfortunately, for Saints fans. That's not every week. But fortunately for them, they're playing the Browns. I mean, they're only favored by 1, which is really terrible. I don't even who's the quarterback for the Browns right now.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Okay, well, maybe
Mr. Crab Legs himself.
Maybe I went ahead and picked the Saints on this one. I don't know.
So I think I'm going Saints as well, just because it's the Cleveland Browns.
Let's start, dude. They like, if you want to like end your career prematurely, go and play for the Browns. Get traded to the Browns. Oh my god, dude! They take every first round draft pick and they flush them down the toilet. And
you know what? They traded for Deshaun Watson and they were still losing. Deshaun Watson, overrated quarterback.
Oh, he's a dickbag. He's a
dickbag. Absolutely.
He's another shithole prima donna.
Yep.
Not good quarterback. The money went to his head and took out his penis for everybody. Dude, nobody wants to see a dick that bad. I'm sorry.
If you're paying for it, they do.
Yeah, well, and all these women came out against him. I'm assuming that they didn't. Well, maybe they just wanted more of a payday. I don't know, but he's just not a good. He's just not. It was fantastic when he got injured. He was a torn ACL, or it was not even a no-hit play. He just like fell over on the sidelines or something.
Yeah.
Like a bag of shit. And his home fan base was screaming, "You deserve it." That was unbelievable. That was great. It's always good to see your whole entire home stadium turn completely against you, and wish against you. So that's always nice to see. Next, the game of the week, or one of the games of the week next week, I think will be the Baltimore Ravens take it to Pittsburgh, go right up the road. It's a 3-point spread. The Ravens are favored. Like, holy shit, the Steelers. What was the Steelers in Washington this past week? Right, that was a holy shit matchup. The Steelers have a pretty good offense and a pretty good defense.
And they're very well coached as well.
Yeah. Oh, Mike Tomlin's a classic. He's like
he's never had a losing record.
Right. Oh yeah. Right. He's like the Black Bill Belichick. He's just he's on target, dude. He's going places. They are not favored against the Ravens. I, however, took the Steelers this week. I think they're gonna. I think
what's the spread on that?
It's only 3 points.
So I think see that's a tough one. 3 points, but if they can contain Lamar Jackson, which I think they can, because I think the Steelers defense is decent. I think they have a shot. but you got to keep him contained and not let him get outside the pocket and use those legs and get downfield.
He
Because
can
once he's in open
run.
space, you're screwed.
He can
You're
run. He
screwed.
can throw. He can pass. He can catch. I've seen
Yeah.
him receive balls. He's all over the place. Zay Flowers is ridiculously fast.
Yes.
And really good at catching footballs. What's his name? Chris, the kid they got from the Titans. Henry? No, buddy.
From the
Chris.
Titans?
He was a running back for the Titans. He plays for them now. He's pretty good. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. I knew there was.
Yeah.
He's having a bit of a resurgence.
Listen, that's another 1-2 punch.
Right.
You have to worry about Derrick Henry getting the ball or Lamar Jackson running the ball as your ground game. That's scary because Derrick Henry is running like a man still. He's running like an animal.
He's still doing things. The Baltimore defense isn't as great as I think they were in like say last year or the year before, but they can still take it away like anybody else. But I took the Steelers in this matchup. I don't know. There's some fire. I don't know. There's some fire with Pittsburgh. I think they're going to do something. Whose home game is it? It's Pittsburgh's home game.
Okay, so I can see that.
So a little bit more lean, especially with 3 points. It might be a closer game than I don't know.
Right.
Speaking of closer games, the Atlanta Falcons travel to Denver. Denver's been doing better. Bo Nix has been looking better by the week.
And their defense is solid too in Denver. That's their strong point.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They keep them in games. Like, holy shit, they almost beat the Chiefs, which was wonderful.
Yeah. Listen, Chiefs. Oof. They're a sloppy, undefeated team.
They are very sloppy. They have come close to losing several times.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for it. But
they scored with Hopkins. They grabbed him, and that was awesome for them. But they're not. I'm praying that my 72 Dolphins, that one record, dude, that we still hold on to. I'm just for that reason alone. Just for that reason alone. But whatever. I digress. So after let's see, where are we at? Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Denver. Seattle, another Jets quarterback that turned his career around after he left the Jets. Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks traveled to San Francisco to play a little bit more healthier San Francisco team. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey came back last week, ran for over 100 yards. Yeah, a touchdown or two. They're looking pretty good, San Fran. I mean, they
need to stay healthy though. With Ayuk being out does not help.
Right.
And Debo is an injury away from being out as well. I feel like he's always one that's on and off the field. It is huge. Christian McCaffrey's back though. He's the real deal running the ball. But I do think San Fran has a strong linebacker core.
Yeah.
And that will help them.
Oh, what's that guy's name? It starts with a B. He's delicious.
I know it's Fred Warner.
Yeah. No. The linebacker for the 49ers.
Back in the day, you talking about Bowman?
No. I'm talking about today. Nowadays, it starts with a B. I swear to God.
Oh, I don't know. I know Fred Warner. Fred Warner's an animal.
I'll think of it animal show. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
They still have a. I don't know if they're Super Bowl contenders right now, but they still have a.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders right now. I mean, they'll make the playoffs because that division's kind of weak.
Right.
But, yeah.
They're favored 6.5 against Seahawks this week. That's a tight one for me. I picked San Francisco, but I have my doubts.
Well, Brock Purdy's got to be on his game, but you know what? I think I like San Fran in 6.5. You said.
Yeah, 6.5.
I think I like San Fran there.
Makes sense.
Kenneth Walker's a great running back, by the way, for Seattle. He's a good running back.
Oh yeah, they have a solid team. They have a good team, but I don't know. San Francisco, and it's at home again, like you say, the home team.
Yeah,
it's where the home team might actually make the difference this week. I'm hoping the Buffalo Bills. Another game of the week. Buffalo Bills are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift at 4:25. Buffalo has a sick defense, although they're susceptible to the run, and they have a really on point. Their offense is really scary. Josh Allen is really good.
Yeah, he's an MVP candidate right now, man.
He threw his first. his first interception like 3 weeks ago.
I was just gonna say he definitely worked on his game and his
Yeah.
skill set, and he does not throw those picks anymore that he's done in the past.
Right.
And that's what's gonna help win games too, is the lack of turnovers.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, man. Offense, defense, special teams, they're the real deal. But they're another team that I feel like when they're not 100% there playing and they're playing lackadaisical,
Yeah, that's where they drop the
they
ball.
get beat, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Or they kicker like just misses it by an inch.
What's the spread on this one, buddy?
It's 2.5. The Buffalo Bills are favored.
Yeah, I'm going Buffalo Bills this game.
You're going. I
I'm
picked
going
the
Buffalo.
Chiefs just with the points, just because I know if I pick the Bills that they're gonna lose. Oh, maybe I should pick the Bills because they're gonna lose. But I don't know. I'd like to see the Bills win.
Yeah.
When my Dolphins get kicked out of the playoffs, the Bills. I have friends in Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's probably been a miserable 20 years because they've had good teams, but they choke every single chance that they get. To
Isn't that crazy? As a Patriots fan and a Dolphins fan, we want Buffalo to win another division rival,
right,
just to beat Kansas City,
right? Because they need.
And we know that our teams aren't making the playoffs, so
We're not doing shit.
go ahead,
We're
Buffalo.
not doing shit. Yeah.
Beat on Kansas City.
Go get him, Josh.
Go get him.
Go get him. You guys jump through tables. You have good wings. Go and do something with you guys.
Yeah.
With your season, make it worthwhile. Good people up there in Buffalo. So yeah, hopefully the Bills pull through.
Actually, no, it would help them if they were playing in the snow.
All right, yeah, that's second. You get so much snow. That was my one qualm about going to see Miami at Buffalo was like, oh my God, when is it going to be? Because I don't want to drive up there in the worst winters.
Right.
They beat our winters by like tenfold up there.
Oh,
They get so
sure.
much more snow and ice and cold. And I think it was 64 degrees game time. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were playing that game that game that I can't remember right now, Cornell. And it was a good time. People jumped through tables. Lovely city, Baltimore. Next game of the week. The next game, not really a game of the week. Two kind of teams. The Cincinnati Bengals were really looking great on offense. So that's another game. Last week they really almost won that football game, but unfortunately in the end they blew it. Then they're traveling to LA to take on the Chargers, who have a decent record but don't score a lot of touchdowns these days.
Yeah, they have no weapons in
none
Los
whatsoever
Angeles over there.
Cincinnati looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Other than their record, if they won more games, they looked awesome last week, but they lost a tight one.
Oh, that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection is the real deal.
Oh yeah, for sure. They were
on
point every single time. And they didn't even have like T. Higgins. They didn't have
right.
All their weapons, and if they did, they would have put it all together. But yeah, I'm picking them over the Chargers. They're only getting a point, believe it or not. I think they're getting done dirty here. Actually, no, they're not favored. The Chargers. They're given a point. The Chargers are the favorite team. I don't know why. Maybe because they're at home, but I'm going to go.
I'm going Cincinnati here too.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati. They're offensively, they're going to put up more points than in the Chargers.
For sure. And the Monday night game, the last game of the week, the worst team in football, the best team to watch lose in football, the Dallas Cowboys hosted the Houston Texans. Houston's kind of like, they did all right the other night, even though they lost. But they haven't been like on fire as much as they have been. But I think
they're getting Nico Collins back. Huge for Houston.
That's huge for Houston. And they go into Dallas to play. We're going to kick the shit out of this team kind of week.
And I hope they do.
Oh, it'd be great. I pick Houston all day.
Yeah. What's the spread for that one?
It's not a ton, honestly. I think it's less than 6.
I was going to say probably 6, 4 to 6.
It's Texans are actually 7.5.
7.5.
I'm still gonna go down. Go Houston.
I'm going there too, man. Because you know what? No Dak. They're saying Cooper Rush might be starting, but they also have Trey Lance that they could start. Who cares? Throw whoever the fuck you want in there. They're not going to do well. CD Lamb hasn't been impressive this year. That whole Dallas offense hasn't been impressive. Mike McCarthy, he's hot garbage. You can't call offenses anymore. Time to hang it up.
Bill Belichick, you got a new job next year, dude. They were saying it this year. It's going to happen next year.
Well, I'm hearing that or Philly. I can't see him.
Nick Sirianni, going to Philly. That'd be kind of cool. Anything else you'd like to add, Steve, before we wrap up tonight?
I do not, buddy. I do not. You have any questions? You got anything for me there, fella?
No, dude. Who do you think? Who do you think is going to be the Super Bowl? Who do you think? Not
Super
win it,
Bowl.
just Super Bowl. Who's
Super
going to
Bowl
be in it?
predictions?
Yeah.
So let me go here. We'll start with the AFC and NFC championships.
Okay.
Okay. I think out of the AFC,
Yeah.
the teams that show the most promise to make it to the AFC championship, hate to say it, but the Kansas City Chiefs, because Patty Mahomes thrives in the playoffs.
Right.
And I think it could be against the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh.
AFC championship.
Really? I was going to say the Bills again, and the Bills go through.
No, I think the Bills, they have to prove to me that they're playoff caliber team because they always seem to choke.
Yeah, they choke.
They choke. So I want
wide right.
Wide right.
Wide right.
I'm gonna go Baltimore, Kansas City.
Oh.
NFC, you get a little tricky. The NFC.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I gotta go Detroit because they're playing great football.
Amazing team.
Oh man, Detroit. And I think it depends on Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh boy.
But when they play their football, they're a team to beat.
Yeah. You think the Vikings?
Could be. I mean, they only have like 3 losses.
True. I was going to say
Philly could squeeze it out too.
They could squeeze it out. They could. I was going to say the Bills and the Vikings, and the Bills won the whole thing. I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be the Commanders.
Yeah.
Could be anyone.
Could be the Commanders. I just don't. I think that it's a long season.
Yeah.
And are they going to have that stamina and the fortitude play? When's the last time Washington's been to the playoffs?
Oh God, it's been forever.
You okay over there?
I'm all right.
Aneurysm?
Juggling some things over here. Yeah, doing okay. That beer caught up on me quick. Holy shit. Oh God. I was struggling that way. Go on, please. Go on. Talk about your prediction, Steve. As
I'm gonna go Detroit, Kansas City Super Bowl.
That's pretty good. That'd be a good
Detroit, Kansas City.
That'd be a good.
And I would love to see Detroit win it all.
Yeah. I said the Vikings today, I had to really relieve myself, and not to say I just did on air, but anyway, I feel much better. The Bills and Detroit would be a pretty good, best of the best.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Buffalo. I think Detroit's going to beat you guys if you guys go to the Super Bowl against them. I hope not, but
man, they got grit.
Yeah,
they got grit. They do. They got a lot of grit.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's definitely got something going on. They've had more than two games where they've scored more than 50 points in the game. So they're pretty on fucking fire.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see really anybody. Although they almost got stopped. They came close to losing the game the other night, but
it's been a weird NFL year where there's been a lot of bad football. So you never know. Who the hell knows?
Right. It could go either way. Yeah. All right, Steve. I'd like to thank you for coming on tonight.
Yes, sir.
Wish you a happy Veterans Day, happy belated Veterans Day. We did something special yesterday for yourself, or for your
took
guys.
The day out of work, hung out with my kids, and that's all I needed.
That's all you need to really do, dude. That's awesome. Tune in Saturday. We'll probably do something live from the White Dog Distillery, the chili competition. My chili glorified virgin on a pelican will hopefully win first prize, which will be $100 prize. If not, well, whatever. That the memory of Heather and her wonderful cooking will continue. Tune in next week as on the Ghost and the Goat, as we welcome Ray Gooseberry. He's a paranormal investigator. I don't have much information on Ray. He's the Goose. He's supposed to be a great guy. We'll find out if Ray's a good guy. tune in next week for the Goat and the Ghost. For Steve Grande, for the Varnum Memorial Armory, for Jeffrey Ahern, it's been me, Buddy Thayer. It's been a wonderful show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Check out the Varnum Armory, guys. If you're in from Rhode Island, if you're in Mass, if you're not even from the area, travel here. I guarantee you it's worth a visit. It's better than the Smithsonian. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Go Fins.
Take care.
Fins up. Take care. Goodbye.